Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV, and this is Football in 60 with myself and my man Charlie from Blue Brother CFC. We'll be with you every day at 3 o'clock. There's a lot of football to talk about, Charlie, which makes it strange that YouTube feels eerily quiet, doesn't it? What's going on?
Mate, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it always seems to be after the big summer window. There seems to be a bit of a drop off, but there's loads going on now. You know, Champions League, all the European football's back now. Loads of big games to look forward to. Getting stuck into it, the Premier League and stuff like that. So yeah, mate, there's lots to get into. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll keep plugging away. We'll keep talking about football with my lovely Spurs shirt with a snake on it. I mean, read into that what you will. Charlie, today I want to talk about the Champions League is back for both our clubs, or well, this week for both of our football clubs. We'll have a little look at that. I want to talk about the title race. The league has kind of started how we thought it might. Chelsea are up there, Liverpool up there, Arsenal up there, our City coming back. We'll talk about the title race. And also, I want to talk about what's going wrong at Villa. What's happened? They haven't really lost anyone. So what's going on? But I want to start with you, Charlie, from a Premier League point of view. All summer, people talk about this is my favourite, that's my favourite. If they sign them, I'm going to ask you a question and you can lead it wherever you want. Is it Liverpool's title to lose? Are they that good? Or are we seeing a team that's quite lucky at the moment?
No, I think they're very good. You know, before they even signed Isak, Wirtz, etc., like I still had them down as my favourites to win the league. In terms of have they been lucky? Yeah, to a certain degree, you could put it that way, but ultimately you create your own luck as well. Is it sustainable to win with last-minute goals for an entire season? No, it's not. But they're going to click into gear. They're going to get better. They're going to bed Alexander Isak into that side as well, which is going to give them an extra dimension. So you could look at their game so far, right? Szoboszlai, moment of brilliance against Arsenal. Last-minute penalty against Burnley. Last-minute winner from the young lad against Newcastle. And they beat Bournemouth 4-2 on the opening weekend. But I would say they're lucky in that game, but Bournemouth made it difficult for them. They were behind at one point in that game. So Liverpool haven't really clicked into gear yet, and they're still 4 for 4, which should be pretty worrying for everyone else. Because I think we can safely say that we've not seen the best of Liverpool at all in any of these games.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, they've spent a lot of money, Charlie. If we look at it, Liverpool have just spent, I believe, something like 430 million.
Yeah, a lot of money
in one window. Are they 430 million pounds stronger than the team that just won the title? Or, like many are suggesting, are we seeing some defensive frailties there? It looks like you can get at them. They haven't added anything into their midfield, as in the central midfield area. People are saying they're light in centre half with Konate, Van Dijk, and Gomez with Leone as well. What do you think they're strong? Are they much stronger all over, or just in the forward areas?
I think you've got to say they're strong, definitely stronger in the forward areas. The fullbacks, they swapped both of the fullbacks. Well, they've kind of swapped both the fullbacks. Trent went, they've replaced him with Frimpong. And then obviously Kirkez has come in, not as a Robinson replacement, but he's obviously taken that slot and he's found it difficult so far in these opening games. So they swapped their fullbacks in the back four. The centre-half pairing is a decent pairing. I do agree with you. I do worry about their depth at centre-back. If anything were to happen to Van Dijk or Konate, that the options coming in, whether it's a Joe Gomez who's struggled to stay fit, or the young kid Leone, who we haven't really seen anything of so far, that would be a potential concern. Midfield, the midfield was very good last season. Gravenberch, McAllister, you could put Szoboszlai in there. You've added Florian Wirtz to the mix. I know he's not quite hit the ground running yet, but he is someone you'd expect to get up and running. So you could argue the midfield is stronger with the addition of him in there. And then the front line's definitely better. You know, you've got rid of Luis Diaz and you've got rid of Darwin Núñez and you've brought in Ekitike and you've brought in Alexander Isak. So I would say they're stronger in 2/3 of the pitch. My issue would be not defensively overall, but I think at centre-back, they are lacking depth and they can be got at for sure.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I've watched them play this year. I've not really been impressed with them in any of the games that they've played. Now, people could say that that's me being down on them, and I get it. 12 points from 12, that's all that matters. But could it be a case of, when you buy too many big players, Wirtz, Ekatike, you've got Salah, you've got Isak who's about to come in as well. Are there too many chefs in that kitchen, so to speak? Have they lost a little bit of the workman-like element? I don't know.
I don't know. It's always an interesting one when you add so many big name players in one window, particularly in one part of the pitch as well. It's all in the attacking third, the big names that have been added. What happens to Ekatike when Isak comes into the team? Does Ekatike go out to the left? Does Gakpo drop out? Do you go Ekatike drifting from the left, Isak and Salah with Wirtz in behind? I don't know, but these are nice problems to have. These are really good problems to have. It's good options to have, good strength in depth and whatnot. But Liverpool are going to have to get used to playing with a proper centre forward. I know they had Darwin Núñez, but he was never really the main guy for them. This is arguably the first time they're going to be playing with a centre forward week in, week out since Luis Suarez, really. Other times, they've gone with Bobby Firmino. They've gone with that sort of type of player, not really a proper striker. Diogo Jota, again, not really an out-and-out centre forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt. I think you absolutely do take a degree of risk when you change a lot of players in one particular area of the pitch. So I'm going to be very interested to see how that all clicks together and how Isak gets into the team, how he settles into that team and how they get the best out of him. Does that bring the best out of Wirtz, having someone to aim for, having someone to play off? So look, they've not started amazingly well in terms of performances, but they find a way, and they're only going to get better.
If I say to you right now, Liverpool are going to win the league again, would you find any argument to tell me that they won't?
No, I don't think there is. I really don't think there is, because if you look at the teams that they're competing with, you're not going to write City off out of everything, but I don't think they've got the consistency or the quality over a course of a season to be better than Liverpool. And look at Arsenal.
You don't think they got the quality?
Not in enough areas of the pitch. We spoke about this yesterday in terms of consistency of performances. There's not enough consistency from a lot of that from their front players other than Erling Haaland. Where's the consistency with Doku, with Savio, with Phil Foden at this point in time? That level of consistency is not there. Arsenal, they've got the squad to win the league. For me, they've not got the mentality and they've not got the manager. So that's why I see them falling short as well. It's nothing to do with Arsenal in terms of their squad and the quality of players they've got. It's that mentality on the pitch and in the dressing room, and it's the manager. That's why that's for me why Arsenal will fall short. So I can't really make much of a convincing argument to say that anyone else other than Liverpool is going to win the league.
Interesting.
Well, do you think differently?
Do you know what? I don't know. I look at it and say to myself, have Liverpool, like people, when people use the phrase, who won the transfer market?
That's normally me.
Look at it and we say, Liverpool won the transfer window. But I look at it and I say, how much better is that £430 million going to make them? Now, don't get me wrong. Look, Isak is better than Darwin Núñez. Of course, we know that, right? Wirtz has come in and taken Soboslai's place, if we're going to be brutally honest, in that attacking midfield area. Yeah. And then you've got Ekatike, who, if he goes out to the left, probably will be replacing
Gakpo,
Diaz. Right? Now, I look at it and go, are they that much stronger? I don't think they're £430 million stronger. I don't. I don't think that Liverpool going forward was the issue. Where I think Liverpool might come unstuck is at fullback and in central midfield. I look at their centre mids and I think to myself, if one of them gets injured, what are they playing with for the season? So if McAllister goes out of the team for 3 months,
what have you got? They stick to Bosley, wouldn't they?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, is that, I don't know. I look at that and go, is that better than City's? Is that better than Arsenal's? I think they've got more firepower than the other two combined. But I don't know. There's something I'm not sure about. And I'm not trying to be edgy. There's just something about Liverpool that I'm not sure about.
They're definitely light defensively in the centre-back area. If anything happens to a Van Dijk or a Konate, they've got a big problem. And, you know, when you're one injury away from having a big issue in a key position, that's always a worry. And Konate's proven that he does struggle with his fitness. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens. I really wouldn't be surprised at all when we get to January if they do just go and get Guehi. Because if they've got Mark Guehi on deadline day, then that probably puts to bed any arguments about anything in terms of the team. But that'll be the one area I'm looking at defensively. Lack of depth at centre-back, and the fullbacks haven't had the best start. Kirkez has struggled in the first four games. I think he's a very good player. He will find his feet eventually. Frimpong's been out injured with a hamstring injury. So, you know, I would place uncertainty around the back line in terms of how players have settled in the fullback areas, and obviously lack of depth at centre-half.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I know ifs, buts, and maybes with injuries, right? You know, they could go through a season and not get them. I'm interested to see they've got Everton. If I'm not wrong, I feel like I saw that today. That they've got Everton
this weekend. I think it must be. It might be the early game Saturday. Potentially.
Yeah, there you go. Liverpool at home to Everton, 12:30. Now, everything I've said could be completely shattered by 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. They could play 5-1-5, and now all of a sudden, everyone's playing massive catch-up, right? Everybody's playing catch-up. Yeah. You guys have dropped points. Arsenal have already dropped points. Man City will be 9 points behind. If that they could be 9 points behind if Liverpool win that game. I don't know though. I'm not sure. I want to bring Arsenal into this. I do want to bring Arsenal into this conversation. And obviously it won't go down well with any of the Spurs fans that are in the chat. But this is the strongest I've seen Arsenal for years in terms of squad depth.
100%.
In terms of having a striker. You know, unlike many others, I actually think that Madueke's added something to their game. Same with Eze. You've got, you know, Madueke, Eze, Martinelli, Saka as your four wide guys. You know,
adding there as well.
Trossard, you've added Supermendy, Mikel Merino, I think does a really good job. A good job. I don't think he's amazing, but he does a good job. Is it the Arteta factor which is stopping people fancying Arsenal more than probably they should?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. You know, as we've discussed, everything's there in the squad now. Yeah, they've got really good options. They've strengthened in areas they needed to. They had no backup for Bukayo Saka. They now have a capable backup in Madueke. Let's see what he does and how he progresses this season. They've added Eberechi Eze, who's a quality player, and will make a difference to Arsenal in those games against low blocks, teams defending deeply that they're struggling to break a side down. Someone like an Eze will give you an extra dimension in games like that. They've added Victor Gyökeres. They can create the chances for him. He's proven that he is a goal scorer. Defensively, you never worried about Arsenal defensively. They've got arguably the best defense in Europe, in my opinion. And they've strengthened the midfield. Zubimendi's come in, looks decent. They've got Mikel Moreno in there as well. They've got Declan Rice. And they've obviously added Christian Norgard for a bit of experience as well. A solid player, a solid Premier League player. All the ingredients are there. But for me, it's, as you mentioned, it's the manager. It's the manager for me, because I don't think he's got what it takes to take that final step. And the evidence is there to support that. You know, they won the COVID FA Cup, and then they've not made a single final since. Everyone talks about how amazing Arsenal are, how great they've done. They're contending again and whatnot. And he's done a good job in that respect in terms of they're competing again and they're one of the best teams in the league. However, 3 times bottled the Premier League. Twice when they were top, and then the 1 year Man City completely fell away. They weren't there to pick the pieces up. And for me, he's just shown that he's not got what it takes in the big moments. He hasn't got the mentality. He's not got that winning DNA. they've made no finals. It's not like they're getting to finals and losing.
Yeah.
They're not. The thing is, they're not close to winning anything, and that's my thing. He's got them competing and he's got them better. There's no doubt about it. But they haven't really come close at all, other than that season, a couple of seasons ago, when they lost to Aston Villa 2-0 at the Emirates, which cost them the league. But in the cup competitions, they've been nowhere near, really. We have to be honest about it. And that, for me,
can they fight on four fronts? You know, we've got no evidence of that in the last 5 years under Arteta. That they
nothing
can listen. I've not seen him
because he regularly chucks away the domestic cups. He regularly does. That's what he's done in his entire reign there. He doesn't really care about them, and that's fine if you go and deliver a league or a Champions League. But that's not fine when you've won nothing for 6 years. You're not in a position to be doing that. So why he thinks that it's okay to do that at a club like Arsenal, where they've won nothing for so long, they're not even making finals, to just disregard those domestic cup competitions is a real strange one. I'm not saying that a Carabao Cup saves his job this season, but it instills winning mentality. It'll be the first trophy this group's won. Do you know what I mean? Like the importance of that shouldn't be overlooked. So it's an Arteta issue, in my opinion. It's nothing to do with the quality of the players. It's nothing to do with the quality of the squad.
I think it was really telling. Was it 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, whatever it was, when Arsenal played Liverpool, and. You know, as I said, I don't think Liverpool have been at their best, and you're thinking to yourself, right, you know, Arsenal, I'm not thinking this. As a Spurs fan, I'm not thinking this, but as football fans, you're looking in going, God, could Arsenal do this? Could Arsenal really set their stall here, go to Anfield, pick up 3 points and really show that they're boss? And Arteta, for me, just doesn't know in those moments how to mix it up, how to change it, and how to get over the line. And that's the difference between him, for me, at the moment, and the Klopps, the Peps.
Because as soon as you saw Mikel Moreno playing number 10, that was it. That was his game plan. He went there to not lose. And this is my issue with Arsenal now. Ever since they got so close that season, couple seasons ago, they lost the one game against Villa, and that cost them the league basically towards the end. He's become so scared about losing. He doesn't set teams up to win. He sets up not to lose. That's the biggest problem now. You know, you've got to go into these big games setting up to win. Liverpool were there for the taking. If he'd started an Eze, if he'd started an Odegaard, you know, instead of Marino, or switched it at half time, they were there. They were there to be got at. And he didn't have that mentality to go for the win. And that's my biggest concern, is when you're setting up not to win, but your first thought is, let's not lose. That mentality is not going to win you the big trophies.
And I think that shows in something you said earlier in terms of Arsenal's back four. Arsenal don't have a back four anymore. If you actually look at the depth they've got across that back line,
ridiculous.
They've got Timber and White, who both play right back. You've got Mosquera, Hincapi, Gabriel, and Saliba at centre half. And then you've got Lewis Skelly and Calafiori.
And Hincapi could also play left back as well.
Yeah. And so can Ben White can play centre half.
Yeah. Calafiori and Timber can play centre half as well. Yeah.
They've got 8. Let's be fair. If I offered you that's your back 8 for a campaign, you're not saying no.
It's unbelievable. Right? Yeah. You're taking it all day.
They're strong with Declan Rice. They're strong. I like Zubimendi. I think he's a very intelligent player. I think Marino does a good job for what he does. Norgard will have balance. For me, it's going to be about, can he get that balance right up top? Can he get that balance right? Can he get the best out of Eberici Eze? What does he do? You know, does he chuck Eze left and just say, go on, fill a gap there? Does he get him centrally? What does he do with Odegaard? What happens if Saka misses 10, 15 games? How does Madueke fit in? All of these different things. But still, and this isn't me being salty, Charlie, I know what people are going to say. Still, I look at them and go, second. I literally look at them and go...
I agree. I agree. What's going to be very interesting is this weekend. It's Arsenal City at the Emirates.
Yeah.
How do they approach that game? Because the expectation from the Arsenal fans will be to go and win that game and to take the game to Manchester City. I think they beat them 5-0, was it, at the Emirates last season? 5-0, 5-1?
Yeah.
I remember they definitely tore them apart. What are Arsenal going to do at the Emirates on Sunday against Manchester City? Are they going to revert to type in a big game where they set up not to lose rather than to win? I think we could find out a lot about Arsenal on Sunday from the way they approach this game and the result that they get.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is as well is if I know these are all big ifs, if Liverpool win that game, their game against Everton, to go to 15 points, and then City beat Arsenal, Liverpool have already got a 6-point gap over the other two.
And that's big. That's big already.
Yeah, after 15 points available, a 6-point gap, massive. Now, it might not be that. Arsenal might roll over Man City, and straight away you're then going, well, City are miles behind. Yeah. But let's bring them into it. Let's bring Man City into it. And by the way, people asking why aren't Liverpool an option in the poll? Essentially, what I wanted to see in the poll was if I don't put Liverpool in there, how much scope do we give to the other teams? And at the moment, Arsenal 12%, City 11%, Chelsea 2%, and the other is 75%. And I fail to believe that the other means anything other than Liverpool, unless you Spurs fans are thinking we're in. This is our year. We're winning it. Let's bring Man City into it. A very unorthodox Man City last season. It was a strange season where they started terribly, but finished strongly, spent money, and this year it's been a mixed bag so far for them. Rodri is back. Haaland is scoring for fun. Foden, excellent the other day. Can he make that a regular thing? Have City got enough to be... You don't think they're going to win it, but have they got enough to be there or thereabouts, in your opinion?
Oh, yeah. And they've definitely got enough to be there or thereabouts, mate, for sure.
What's stopping them winning it then? Because when you look at the likes of Diaz and Vardiol, Donnarumma in there now gives them that safety blanket. Rodri, you know, they've got Kovacic and Gonzalez and Reinders and Haaland. Is there not enough to win it?
No, there's enough, but I don't think there's enough on a consistent basis. That's the problem. If everyone's playing at their best week in, week out, there probably is enough to do it. My issues would be, right, in the fullback areas. They don't really have a right back. They've been playing Nico O'Reilly, who's a midfield player, and they've been playing Mateus Nunes, who's also a midfield player. They don't have a right back. That, for me, is an issue. Yes, Vardiol's gone out and played right back at times as well, but he's a centre-back.
Rico Lewis?
Well, Rico Lewis is their only right back, but he prefers playing centre-backs or midfielders at right back over him. He's obviously not fancied as the top right back. Left back, they've got Ryan Ait-Nouri. Ait-Nouri's injured at the moment. Ait-Nouri, I think, is a good player, but it's his first season there. We're obviously taking a bit of time to settle in and whatnot. So I look at fullback as an area that's not particularly strong for Manchester City. Centre-back is hit and miss. If, Vardiol and Diaz stay fit all season, then that's a great partnership. Diaz has had problems. John Stones, again, another one, injury issues. Kusanov, who was used at fullback on the weekend, he's another young centre-back. Is he going to come in? Where's he going to play? Midfield, I think they're fine in midfield. I think the midfield, the depth's there, the quality's there.
Yep.
For me, where the issues come, other than the fullback area, is the wide areas. Doku, Savio, on their day, very good. Really lack consistency, as you'd expect from young wingers. They have the consistent levels aren't there. Mamouche, I really like him. He's injured right now, but I think he's a very good player, and he definitely starts for City when fit. Phil Foden, again, on his day, or Phil Foden, 18 months ago, unbelievable player. That player, I think, is still there, but we've not seen it for a while. Can he kick on from that? Can he kick on from that performance on Sunday, and do that on a regular basis? Because if he does that on a regular basis, then that makes City much, much better. But I just feel that's where the question marks are: fullback areas, and then a lack of consistency in those wide attacking areas as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. See, I think that this year, and this is one of those things I'm about to say that it will get clipped up if it doesn't happen, because you know what YouTube's like. I think Doku's going to have a great year. I think what I've seen since he signed for City was very much a young player coming over here that needed time, but you could see all of the raw talent. Last year, I thought he showed some really good signs. And this year, I think he's going to take it to another level. Foden, listen, as you said, 18 months ago, Foden was player of the
in the
year.
league. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we know his qualities. If he can get back to that, and Doku can stay at the level he was the other day against United, we know Haaland will score goals. There's no problem with that. I just think they could be in that title race. Whether they've got enough, for me, I think you're right. For me, there's too much chopping and changing at the back. If I was Pep, without all this chopping and if I was Pep, I'd keep it nice and simple. I'd say, right, okay, with Aït-Nouri out, right, Ake's my left back, Vardio and Diaz are my centre backs, Lewis is my right back. I don't know why he's done this the last few years. He's gone away from sticking with formulas that work.
Well, it goes 4 centre backs at times at the back, doesn't he? And I agree with you. You need to settle on a back line, particularly a centre back partnership. The full back, there's a bit more scope for some rotation at full back. I don't think that's as crucial as having a set keeper and a set centre back pairing. But yeah, different fullbacks every game is not ideal. Midfield players, centre backs playing out there. You do need some sort of settled formula. And so I would agree with you. He needs to pick a back line and stick with it. I think Ake at left back makes sense. And then at right back...
Well, he's solid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good player.
At left back, he's strong, he's quick, he's good on the ball, he's experienced, he's brilliant in the air, good on the football. I look at them and I always go, all the players are there. All the players are there. Yeah. But is it an aura thing? Has that aura? Because for 4 years, City, no one wanted to play. It was City. It was like, oh, City are going to score 4 today. City are going to score 5. Now you don't know which Man City you're getting from week to week. They're either brilliant, or what they tend to do is start well and then get pipped at the end of games. Yeah. So has the aura gone from Man City?
Yeah, mate, I think there's definitely a case for that. You know, I think there's definitely a case where the fear factor is not the same as it once was. Don't get me wrong. You know, I think there's still an element of fear factor there for teams when they come up against City. But you're not looking at City and you're looking across your way in the tunnel, De Bruyne's, and you know, prime Man City. You'd be like, the game was done in the tunnel for most teams. Yeah. Now, I think most teams will fancy themselves to have a chance against City. Yeah. I'm not saying that City are going to lose a lot of games or whatever, but most teams will fancy their chances. And yeah, I do think a bit of the fear factor's gone. I do think a bit of the aura's gone, but they are still a very good team. I just don't think over a course of 38 games, I just don't think they've got enough consistency in the key areas. And I probably would say they do lack quality in the wide areas. Doku and Savio should really be backup options, in my opinion, or rotation options at the age that they're at.
Okay. Interesting. Well, look, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. The last team I want to talk about in that title race is your boys. Who better to ask? Now, Chelsea, it's a funny one, Charlie, right? Chelsea is a funny one because what a lot of people just say is, billions have been spent. And we've had this conversation many a time where I never quite looked at it like that, because I saw that you weren't spending billions on the best players around the world. You were actually building a very young squad with those billions of pounds. I think you're a really good team. Tell me if I'm wrong. From an outsider's point of view, I think Chelsea are a very good team. I think you've got a bloody good midfield. I think you've got one of the best midfields in the country, if not Europe. I think Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez together the last 2 years have really, really grown, added a lot to each other's game, and that's a solid partnership. Cole Palmer, absolute quality. I like Pedro. I like Neto. I just think you are at the back and the goalkeeper. I think that is the reason why I look at Chelsea and go, I think you'll be adrift of those other three come May. Is that harsh, or
no?
Do you agree?
That's what it is at the end of the day. Whilst we've done good business, whilst we've built a decent squad in the majority of the areas, it's really frustrating that with all the investment, we still don't have a top quality goalkeeper, and we still don't have a top centre back. I was disappointed that those two areas weren't addressed. I think going forwards, I still worry about the depth at number 9. Liam Delap's out right now, and you've got Joao Pedro, and then you've got Mark Guiu or Tyreek George, neither of who, in my opinion, are good enough. So I think we lack depth in number 9. The centre-back thing was a big issue. We tried to sign Dean Huijsen at the start of the summer. We missed out to Real Madrid. That's the food chain in football, unfortunately. You know, that's what happens. But why we didn't...
Before you go on, who are the centre-back options you've got? List them for me.
So right now, we've got Tosin, Chalobah, Wesley Fofana, Badia Shil, and who else is there at centre-back right now?
Hasn't you got the young... Is it Agyemang?
Achimpong's there as well. Achimpong. Obviously, Ansel Mina and Mamadou Sarr both went out on loan. So those are really the 5 options that we've got at the club right now, unless I'm completely...
So no one that's...
we've obviously got Levi Colwell, but he's injured. So, But so I didn't name him because he's obviously not in the team at the moment. Fofana is the one you look at as the one with the star quality and a guy that, you know, has all the ingredients to be a top centre half. This is his 4th season now, Savva, and he's not even played 50 games for us. He's had so many injury problems.
Yeah,
and
big money signing, if I remember.
Fit and on his day, he's our best centre back. The problem is his day has not been often because he's not been fit. And given the amount of injuries that he's had, you don't know what level he's capable of getting to now. But for me, I think going forwards for this season, our best partnership probably will be Chalobah and Fofana. But you just don't know what level you're getting from Fofana and how long it's going to take him to get back up to his best. And what does his best look like now? That for me would be the big question marks there. Badia Shil.
Do you have a pairing? Like I mean, obviously, you know, do you have a 2 where you go, right, well, these 2 start every week because they are levels above the rest?
No, it would have been Colwell. It would have been Colwell and Fofana. It would have been Colwell and Fofana. But I think, to be honest, outside of Colwell and Fofana, Chalobah, Tosin, Badia Shil, they're much of a muchness, you know. They're not all the same. They're not all the same level, but they're all in and around the same level. I'd say Chalobah's the best of that 3, but in that 3, there's no like centre backs you look at and go, wow.
So you've not got a Van Dijk, you've not got a Saliba.
No.
You've not got a Ruben Diaz, you know, for just to compare you to the top 3. Isn't that a bit crazy though? Like, look, you know me, I'm not an agitator. I'm not going to knock Chelsea, but isn't that a little bit crazy, Charlie? When you look at the volume of money that has been spent lavishly over the last 2-3 years, that we're sitting here going, another year where Chelsea have sold about 250 million pounds worth of players, bought in 300 million pounds worth, but still no centre half where the rest of the league goes, that's a top centre half, or that's a top goalkeeper. Isn't that worrying?
It's a bit concerning. Yeah, it's a bit worrying that the people in charge have looked at it and just gone, "Now we're all right in those areas." That for me was a bit odd. Maresca publicly stated on multiple occasions he wanted another centre back. We didn't get one. The problem is though, Savva, we talk about a Saliba, a Van Dijk, Gabriel, Ruben Diaz type players, right? Where are those players right now? Do you know what I mean? Because a Saliba, a Gabriel, a Diaz, a whatever, a Van Dijk and stuff, those players are not available. Obviously, you're not going to be able to go and buy one of those. But where are the guys like that right now who would be attainable to sign at centre half? And you look around at centre halves and you think, is there a real lack of top quality centre halves available on the market? And it's the lack of top quality centre halves in football in general. Because I look at it in the summer. Dean Huijsen was the big one that everyone wanted. He went to Real Madrid, fine.
And he's 21, right? Like
he's 21. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So where are they?
Mate, I've said this for years. By the way, this isn't... I've said this for a long time. This, for me, isn't just a centre-half problem. I think you can have this conversation about centre-back, centre-forward, goalkeeper. And when you look at them, if you use Arsenal, for example, the Gabriel and Saliba that Arsenal signed aren't the Gabriel and Saliba that they've developed now.
No.
If you know what I mean, right? So, it's You're right. Let me ask the chat. Everyone in the chat, centre halves, like top centre halves, not up and coming. Give me top centre halves across Europe. I mean, you could probably go. I think Jimenez of Atletico Madrid is a top centre half. But you're right. In essence,
people always say Bastoni at Inter Milan. He always gets mentioned. There's maybe one there, but the point's the same though. Like we're struggling to think of like 5.
Right. Yeah. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't automatically go him. Like even when I look at a world-class team like Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
If I look at Barcelona's centre halves, they've got Christensen, right, who you used to have. They've got Kabasi, who's must just have turned 18 because he was 17. Yeah, must be 18. Ronald Araujo, who is class, but never fit. he's never fit, and that's Barcelona.
Yeah,
that is Barcelona. Real Madrid have gone to Bournemouth to take a centre half.
Yeah,
PSG have gone to Bournemouth.
Mate, I'll tell you what, I would have taken Zabani this summer. I really liked him.
Sure.
Like, very, very good player. I mean, I'm sure you boys were linked with him as well. I think like a lot of clubs would have taken Zabani, but the point's the same though, is that there is a lack of quality in that area. And really, I mean, I would have taken Dean Huijsen all day. I would have taken Mark Guehi as well. I don't really understand why Chelsea didn't really seem to push harder for Guehi, but for whatever reasons, we decided not to. But it's a difficult position because there's not really any top-class established centre-backs that are available to buy right now. And then you're just looking at up-and-coming ones. Even, people say Tapsoba, he's sort of young developing talent. You look at, Upamecano, not for me. He's got too much.
He's got that gene in him. He's one of those. You watch him one game and you go, "Cool, you're a beast," and then you watch him the next game and go, "Is this your debut?" Do you know what I mean?
He lacks consistency, but there's not many about.
Would it be worth then looking at players like? All right, it might not be the sexy Stardust name, but people like Lacroix of Crystal Palace. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? People like that just get the job done. Or would a player like that be for you too similar to the Chalobahs and the Tosin Adarabiyos?
It depends what you're looking for. I think at Chelsea, I think we're going to have a big reshuffle at centre half next summer. In terms of the players that are there, depending on what happens with Fofana this season, if he's not fit, doesn't play many games, I think Chelsea will look to sell him. I think there's a chance that Badiashile leaves next summer, and I think there's probably a chance that one of Tosin or Chalobah also go next summer. So I think we're looking at a big shuffle at the back. We do have a couple of young centre-halves ourselves in Aaron Anselmino and Mamadou Sarr. Let's see what they do on loan at Strasbourg and Borussia Dortmund, respectively, whether they do enough to get themselves back into the mix in terms of the squad. But it's an area of concern, absolutely.
Growing up, there were centre-halves everywhere. Growing up, I remember even that great Arsenal team, they had 2 superb centre-halves, and the centre-halves...
Keown, Bold...
That's my point. They had centre-halves that couldn't get in the team that were quality. Now, you scrap around. If I look at teams in the Premier League, if I look at the La Liga, or if I look at all of the leagues, I'm like, where are the... I look at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich's back 2, if I'm not wrong, has been
Upamecano and Tar.
Now, I like Tar. I think Tar's a good player. Upamecano, for me, hit and miss. This is Bayern Munich we're talking about. What are the days when you look at a Bayern Munich and go, God, look at the world-class defenders they've got. Look at the
defense is weak.
Mad, isn't it?
No, the defense is weak. I mean, someone else in the chat said, I forgot to mention him, Murillo at Forest, I think, is probably the next one that's probably going to go for big money. Whether he's top class quality or not, I'm not sure, but he's definitely probably one of the next centre halves, certainly in the Premier League, that'll be on the move for decent money. I think at the end of the season. I want to see
him for one more year.
This year being one more year, or one more year after this year?
No, this year being one more year.
Oh, this year, right? Okay, yeah.
And what I mean by that is there are certain defenders where, or there's certain tactics and managers, I would say, where they can either make a defender look brilliant because of the setup or make them look awful. Let's use my mate Ange Postecoglou and Nuno, my other old mate who managed Spurs, as an example. Right? Ange Postecoglou managed to make Van de Ven and Romero look very hit and miss, right? Because the tactics, they're wide open. This year, suddenly people are already talking about, is this the best partnership in the league, right? Now, the opposite of last year, where with Nuno at Forest, Murillo and Milenkovic are playing that very deep line where you go, God, these are brilliant defenders at doing that. However, they're about to now play for Ange Postecoglou, right?
Yeah.
Where suddenly they won't be in that low line. Let's see how good they are other than the low blocks. So I'm not knocking. I think Murillo's a really good player. But I do think sometimes you need a bit more of a sample size than 1 year to say, how good are you? Do you know what I mean? How good are you overall? Or was it the system that made you? Yeah. I don't think that's harsh. I just think,
No, I think that's fair, mate. But yeah, no. Look, ultimately, we're short at centre back, and we don't have a top quality goalkeeper. And unfortunately, without those things, you're not going to win a league title. That's what it boils down to. For sure.
I think when I look at your centre halves, I look and think all of your centre halves, I think, would be good for a squad. But I think if you want to win a title, you've got to have two better centre halves than what Chelsea have got. And the goalkeeper, just to round it off before we move on to the Champions League, I'm absolutely flabbergasted that Chelsea did not go and get a goalkeeper in a window where Donnarumma's moved, in a window where Robert Flecken, who was a solid goalkeeper, moved, in a window where Emi Martinez was clearly available in some way, shape, or form. Are you speak for Chelsea fans? Are all Chelsea fans pissed off by the goalkeeper situation, or are there some that rate Sanchez?
Oh no, there's definitely some. There's definitely a small minority that do rate Sanchez. But the general consensus is that it's a big missed opportunity not to have gone and got a goalkeeper and not to have gone and improved that key area of the pitch. So we just have to hope that he doesn't cost us a lot of points this season. If we can just limit the shots on goal, then there's only a certain amount of areas he can potentially make. But yeah, it's disappointing. Mike Mignan was there to be signed. We didn't want to pay the money at the end of the day. So,
and he's quality.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. Maybe we go back in for him in January on a pre-contract because he's out of contract at the end of the season. So maybe we try that. But yeah, a real sense of frustration because there's some good work done, and then there's just some really baffling decisions which you don't get. So. Yeah, we're short at centre half. We're short in goal, and I think we lack depth at number 9. But the squad is better overall than it was last season, so we should be closer.
Surely your squad is at a position now where in the next window or two, you don't need to be doing the 10 in, 10 out thing.
Oh no, absolutely.
You need to go goalie, centre back, and then another centre forward. Because I like Pedro. I think Pedro's a really good player.
Yeah.
Delap, jury's out for me. I think again, young player who had a good first year in the Premier League. Good, not sensational. I need to see how good he is.
Yeah,
again,
agreed.
I think if you had signed a top forward and a top goalkeeper and a top centre half, I think you'd be right up there winning titles. But
we're short in the key areas. Yeah, and that's what it boils down to.
So let me ask you, before we quickly move on to the Champions League, my boys, not to win a title. I'm not that naive.
No.
Where do you see Spurs as somebody? Listen, there's people in the chat that will obviously always be biased and always overrate everything we do. Every one of our players is world class. Everything we do is amazing. As an outsider looking in at Tottenham, what do you see from the squad that we've got with the manager, and what should be Spurs' expectations this season from your point of view?
I think Spurs need to qualify for Europe. Whatever form of Europe that is, I don't know right now. But, from finishing 17th, you can't expect to suddenly just be going back to finishing in the top 4 in one go. I'm not saying you are, but the expectation can't be to suddenly get into the Champions League football in the league, given how poor you were in the league last season.
Yeah.
I see Spurs. I think a lot of business has been done, good business, particularly in the attack. João Palhinha, I think, is a really important signing in that midfield, offers you a lot in there. I think Jed Spence, I think Porro, the centre-backs are decent. The goalkeeper, I think is good enough. He's all right. My only worry for Tottenham potentially would be, I don't think the centre-forwards are very good. I'm not convinced on Solanke, and I'm not convinced on Richarlison. I think Xavi Simons and Kudus will get you goals, but what I'm really looking at, I'm looking at Spurs from an attacking perspective and thinking there's a lot of nice players, but where are the real goal scorers in that team?
Yeah.
And I don't think, I look at Tottenham and I'm just not sure, because I don't look at Richarlison as prolific, and I don't look at Solanke as prolific. So, and that's really your two number 9 options, aren't they? And that for me,
you've got Colomawani's there.
Colomawani as well, but he's another one that sort of plays off the left and comes in kind of player. I just worry about where the goals are.
Out and out marksman there, is there?
No.
There's not one of those forwards I look at and I go, that guy guarantees me 25 goals a year. Do you know what I mean? There's not one. And Spurs fans do this thing now. Oh, Richie works hard, and Solanke presses. But
mate, when you're saying that about forwards, right, and you're scraping the barrel, and your sort of argument or your praise to them is they work hard, you know you're in big trouble. Or when you see, when you see like fans praising a forward for their defensive work rate, that's when you're struggling. That's a bonus. Yeah. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in, what are you doing in the final third of the pitch? What are you bringing me in attack? What goals are you bringing me? The defensive work is a bonus, and that's great as part of the whole package. But the most important thing for an attacker is, are you creating me chances? Are you scoring goals? Forget the defensive work rate. Forget the work rate in general. Are you doing that? And I just think there's a lot of nice players at Spurs. I just look at that and think that's one glaring hole in the team. Where are the proper goal scorers?
Yeah. See, I've said, listen, I said next summer, I want to see Solanke and Richie moved on. Now, both of those will have decent games this year. They will. Oh, yeah. And you know what football fans are like, Charlie. You know what football fans are like. Like tonight, if Richarlison grabs a brace against Villarreal, fans start going, this is the Richie we've been waiting to see for 4 years. But for me, I just think, if you want to win things, if you really want to be a team that you go, right, yeah, we're top 4, like with certainty. Yeah, we're top 4 with certainty. I think you've got to have that guy up front. I think you've got to have that guy up front. I think you've got to have a good goalkeeper, and you've got to be well organised. And at the moment, I'm iffy on the keeper. I think we are very well organised, but the striker scenario does worry me. And I'm hoping that Mawani gets a chance to get some games.
Maybe depth at fullback as well. I don't know what Tottenham fans think, but I was really impressed with Doggy. But now I've sort of like, I don't know if he's regressed a little bit or his levels have dropped, but Spence is better than him right now. I don't know whether there's enough depth or quality. There's depth in the fullback, but I mean like the quality and depth, you know?
Yeah.
Is a Doggy at the levels he had previously shown? Maybe he's not. I've completely forgotten who the alternative to Porro at right back is now.
You've got
the name slipped my mind.
Our actual right backs are Porro and Spence.
Yeah.
Adogi's been out, so Spence has been playing left back. So you've got Adogi at left back with Spence who can play there. Then you've got players that can, players that aren't fullbacks but can play there. So you've got Ben Davies that can go there. Mickey van der Ven has played left back for the Netherlands, so he could go there at a push. You've got Radu Dragusin has actually played right back before. Archie Gray at a push, but yeah, listen, where would you see us finishing? If one of my mods could put Charlie's link in the show, that'd be amazing.
Mate, to be honest with you, Savva, I think anywhere from between 5th and 7th. I would probably say more likely a 6th or 7th. I think you'll be in and around with the Newcastles, the Villas, if they get themselves together, in and around that sort of area, 5, 6, 7 kind of thing. That's where I think they'll be.
I've gone for 6th. I've gone for 6th, and I think that it's a big, you're going from 17th to suddenly 4th is a huge jump. I think that when everyone's fit, we've got when everyone's fit, I think we're a good team and you could do it. But Champions League, a lot of games. I'm still not convinced by the striker area. I was disappointed if we didn't buy a left winger. So I think 6th. But if anyone's predicting their team to finish 6th, I'm not surprised by 5th or 7th because it's only one either way, right?
Yeah.
But I expect the top 4 to be the top 4. Chelsea, Arsenal,
last
City,
season,
Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I expect it to be Spurs and Newcastle battling it out for 5th and 6th, if I'm honest. Now, you always get a surprise package, don't you? You always get one team who does worse than you think. And that's at the moment, I'll talk about them in a minute, Aston Villa, who look like they've, listen, it's early doors. 3 wins in a row now changes all that. But early doors struggling. Other than that, I don't see too much strength. I don't want to sound arrogant. I think that if Spurs don't finish in the top 5, in the top 6, I think it will be a bad season. And unless there's a horrendous injury crisis, I think 6th is where we're probably about right now. Maybe 5th.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I think between 5th and 7th is probably fair where you could expect Tottenham to finish. There is always a surprise package potentially. I think Everton have got the ability to be that. Whether they will be or not, I'm not sure. But I think Everton have got the capabilities to be in the mix in and around top 6, top 8. I think they've got the squad and the players to do it. So yeah, but I think Tottenham anywhere between 5 and 7 is pretty fair right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, I'm not saying we can't do any better. I just think that fans get very excited early in seasons, and I think that a lot happens, doesn't it? We're in September. Yeah. Between now and January, a lot will happen. Between January and May, a lot will happen. So I'll stick with 6th, and if we finish 5th or 7th, I don't think I would have been too far wrong. No. I think anything lower than that would be disappointing.
It depends on the context there as well, doesn't it? Like what kind of happens, I guess. Yeah.
Of course. Well, look, let me ask you about the Champions League quickly. I mean, obviously I'll tell you what, we'll leave Champions League for tomorrow. Because Champions League games will be played tonight. Let's round off the Premier League today. Aston Villa. We touched on this yesterday, but just briefly. Yes, Asensio and Rashford, who are on loan, aren't there anymore. But Aston Villa were doing well before Asensio and Rashford joined. Haven't lost anyone else to the best of my knowledge.
No one major. They've not lost anyone major.
Right. Is this just they're due a bit of bad form? Have they hit a brick wall? Is it getting stale? What's gone on? 4 games, no wins, and no goals.
No scored. Mate, I don't know. Something's not working there right now. You saw them fall away at the end of last season. They bottled Champions League football. There's no other way of talking about it. That's exactly what they did. They've added Gesson from France, who's a decent player. They've added Jadon Sancho, which I think is a bit of a weird signing. We touched on Harvey Elliott yesterday. I think he'll be a good player for him. Where do these guys fit in? They've still got Morgan Rogers. For me, I don't know. I don't really know what's happened to them because this is quite un-Unai Emery like. I don't want to sit here and say 4 games in, the players don't believe in the ideas anymore. That they need a different message coming from someone else. I'm not saying that, but
yeah.
Whatever they're doing right now is not working. It's either it's not working or the players do not understand what's being asked of them. I to be honest, in my opinion, I think Villa would have been better off selling Ollie Watkins this summer and bringing in someone younger, someone a bit more hungrier. Maybe I think Watkins is on his way down a little bit now. I think the wide areas, I'm surprised Donnell Marlin doesn't play more. I'll be interested to see, what sort of a season Morgan Rogers has. He was Young Player of the Year last season. Can he follow that up with a decent season now? He's not looked particularly good in the opening 4 games. The midfield is good. Defensively, they're not horrendous. The centre backs aren't awful. Mate, it's a strange one. It's a really strange one. I don't really get where it's going wrong. They got a few injuries, of course. I mean, but
when you look at that front four, for example, I know they've got a couple of injuries, but when you look at that front four of Watkins, Buendia, Morgan Rogers, John McGinn, Tielemans as a goal threat, to have not scored a goal in 4 games, if you were a Villa fan right now, you'd be scratching your head, right? As to
you'd be concerned, mate. But I know there's a few players missing, right, on that. But you look at it, Buendia. He was on loan at Leverkusen last season for the second half of the season. I don't really know how much he played there, but he's not really been a big part player at Villa. John McGinn's a midfielder. He's not a. So Amadou Onana and Boubacar Kamara are probably 2 of their starting midfielders.
Right. This is what I was going to say to you. But for me, this is where I do think that this is why I think they'll come good, because what would tend to happen is Bogard and Tielemans wouldn't be the 2. It would be Kamara and Onana. Tielemans would then probably take the Buendia position, and suddenly it looks a bit stronger. But surely with Rodgers, Watkins, I mean,
there should be more. There should be more.
Goals.
100%. I mean, I look at Villa, and even if they went 4-3-3 and they played Kamara, Onana, Tielemans in the 10, Rodgers on the left, Sancho or Marlon on the right or whatever, and Watkins down the middle, that's got goals in it. It has to. Maybe it's just not clicking right now, but look, it's 4 games. There's still 34 games left. But
sure.
For a team that's looking to finish in the top 5 for Champions League football, you can't afford to be going 0 for 12 and giving up that many points in what's going to be probably a tight race. They've got a tough game this weekend as well. They're away at Sunderland.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, big game.
That's a big game.
Where I do think that they will be okay at Villa is, first of all, Emery is a top manager.
Yeah.
Second of all, I think that when you look at, they can bring Sancho in for pace. Now, listen, he's not a player I particularly rate, but who knows? Emery, everyone said that about Rashford, and Emery got a tune out of Rashford, right? So you've got Sancho can come in with pace. You've got Harvey Elliott who will come in, and obviously those 2 didn't start because they'd only just signed from their clubs. So you've got Sancho and Elliott to go into that as well. You've got Kamara and Onana to go back into that. There's an upside for Villa, isn't there? There is light, but I can't be going 5-6 games without getting a win, because all of a sudden then you're going, shit, what's happened? We've gone from a top 4 challenge last season and getting to the quarterfinals of the Champions League to bottom 3 of the Premier League. So big week for Villa.
Hey, it's a massive week for them. Does Europa League start this week, or is that next week?
It must be this. Hang on, I'll find out. 1 second. So is that Thursday?
Well, yeah. It'd be Thursday, wouldn't it? Yeah. Or does it start next week?
I can't see it on this week. It looks like it might be next week.
It's next week. So
next week.
That's starting as well. That's a competition that you would expect Aston Villa to win. Let's be real. You were obviously in it last season. The quality of the teams in it is, if we're being really honest, it's not great, is it? Now compared to what the Europa League used to be when Champions League teams dropped in, the quality is not as good as what it used to be. If I'm Aston Villa, I'd be looking at the Europa League and thinking, I reckon Villa have got a better chance of winning the Europa League than finishing in the top 5.
Are they about to have a Spurs season from last year?
Well, I mean, maybe not to that extreme extent, but would you? Well, surely though, for teams like Villa, for teams like a Tottenham, for teams in and around that sort of area, you would surely say that if you're in the Europa League as a Premier League side, that's got to be easier to win that than it is to finish in the top 5.
For sure. Absolutely, it's easier to win the Europa League than finish in the top 5 of the Premier League. Yeah, I don't doubt that. But I think it's just about you don't want to set into a rut, do you? You don't want to get into a rut where suddenly you're 6-7 Premier League games down and everyone's going, "What?
You've got no points." Yeah.
What has happened? Because then all of a sudden, the teams above you. I mean, you look already, Aston Villa. Let's bring up the Premier League table, right?
Of the top 5 already, there must be 8-9 points of the top 5 already.
Let's have a look. So if we go to the Premier League, here we go. Present, share screen. There we go. So here's the Premier League table. So you can see there that already, if you look at the top 5, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Arsenal, 8 points to 8 to 12 points up there. If we go down there, so already Aston Villa,
8 points. They've got 2 points.
So 6 points behind Chelsea in 5th. Now, if you don't beat Sunderland, suddenly that gap's 8 points, right?
Yeah.
9 points. It's huge already for them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's panic stations, but it is absolutely huge for them. Just quickly before we wrap up in a minute, first and foremost, I'm going to say in the next 2-3 minutes before we wrap up, guys and girls, smash that like button. Brand new show, just getting it off the ground. Show some love and appreciation. Charlie and I are going to give you every 3 till 4 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday. The likes are at 99. We should have 200. Please smash that like button. Just before we go, looking at that table now, Bournemouth. I'm just going to ask you this question. Bournemouth. How I saw this morning that there was a couple of Man United fans doing the fanalist thing they do.
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about just go and get Iriola. And whoever it was, I think it was it Charlie or it's somebody, one of the ex-pros said, whoever does it, somebody go and get Iriola now before you lose out.
Yeah.
How much do you rate Iriola, considering he's lost his entire back 4, if I'm not wrong, this summer, and his goalkeeper? He's done he lost his top goal scorer last year in Dominic Solanke. He's done a phenomenal job, hasn't he?
Mate, done a brilliant job. Really, really good job. They've recruited really well. And it's a sign of a really well-run club that you can lose that many key players, recruit players who look really good, and still perform to the level that they have done so far. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. We don't know what they're going to do over the course of the season, but it looks promising. Iriola, whoever plays in that Bournemouth team, they seem to know the role. It doesn't change regardless of who's playing. The system's the same, and they all perform to a very good level. If I'm Iriola, I would be waiting until the end of the season. If Amorim goes in the next few weeks or the next months or before Christmas, if I'm Iriola, if I'm him and his advisors, you are staying well clear of that Man United job, because you will get something much better at the end of the season. Really, for me,
is there that ego though, Charlie? Is there?
Of course there is, because you want to be the guy that restores them back to. There's that thing, right? It is, no matter how shit United are, no matter how much they're struggling and how many years it might take, the problem is it's still Man United. That badge represents something and holds something for a lot of people, a lot of managers, and there will be a sense of ego. Despite how many managers have failed, there'll always be a sense of, I could be the guy. I could be the guy that restores Man United back. I want to go and have a go at this. I get that. But if I'm Iriola, I just think you should wait. The top jobs aren't going to disappear for you. This United job is not attractive right now, despite the stature of Man United. For me, he can go and get a better Premier League job in the summer, or you could easily see him getting a top job in La Liga or a top job in one of the European leagues.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. I just feel like there's that. By the way, Iriola's contract expires at the end of the season at Bournemouth. So at the end of this season, if I'm not wrong, Foxy, that's not just Iriola. Doesn't Glasner's contract run out at the end of this season as well, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, it might well do.
I mean, there's if I'm Man United, I'm going tooth for nail right now to get one of those two guys in. I'm going tooth and nail to get one of those guys in. But
are you going to swap would you swap mid-season if you're either of those managers? You've got Crystal Palace Conference League. Glasner could win that with Palace. That would increase his stock even more. Community Shield, FA Cup, and a Conference League at Crystal Palace. That's putting him into a different caliber in terms of when jobs come up. Iriola, I think, as I said, you could look. I'm not saying it's going to happen. When Hansi Flick had enough at Barcelona, whenever that might be, you could easily see Iriola being a Barcelona manager. I could personally see that myself. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah. Look, I think it's very interesting. Someone said Iriota to Madrid. I think the problem you've got is
Xabi Alonso right now is
Alonso's gone there right now. But the problem is, you do know that Real Madrid managers, they get like 2 defeats in a row, and
they're waving the white flags in the Bernabeu, and it's big problems.
You've lost one game, and everyone's going, get him out. He's rubbish. Listen, I will leave it there.
Mate, did you do the super chats?
Yeah, don't worry, I've got it. I'm going there next. Not my first rodeo, Charlie. It's not my first rodeo. Guys, just before, actually, let me do the super chats first, then I'll continue what I was saying. First of all, big up to Cat Funt. Always fun to say that. So big up, fellas. 4th of October, Liverpool v Chelsea.
Yeah,
that will be good. Well,
it will be.
Listen, listen. I think all the big games in the Premier League have got the promise of being good. Listen, what I don't want to see is Liverpool race off into a played 8-1-8 type scenario. I want to see a title race.
So you'll be supporting Chelsea on October 4th, is what you're saying, Savva.
yeah. Go on. No. But I hate it when I see one team run away with something.
Yeah, I agree.
Last year for me was the most boring Premier League I think I've ever seen. The league title was done by about January.
Relegation was done by them.
Yeah, exactly. It was like everyone was only playing for 4th and 5th, weren't they, at the end of the season? So it was a little bit draining. Big up to you, Cat Fun. Yeah, that should be a good game. Big up to Andy Lester. Thank you very much, buddy. Starting the super sticker train. It didn't catch on, but there's always later on today. So thank you very much, Andy. And Rodney Roberts. How you doing, Rodney? Much love, my friend. So big up, guys. Don't know about you or the chat, but 2 games I so want to win this season is Liverpool and Chelsea away.
Not asking for much.
Far too long. What do you think? I don't reckon Charlie will agree with that one. Yeah, we often. I mean, when did we last win at Stamford Bridge?
Dele Alli, was it under Conte? Was it? Oh, who was it under? Dele Alli scored a goal, didn't he? Was it? Oh. Did you win 2-1? Maybe when Mourinho was Chelsea manager. I think Conte might have been at Spurs.
No, so Dele Alli wouldn't have played under Conte, would he?
Or was it Pochettino would have won at Stamford Bridge against Mourinho then?
Right, this is where we're asking
15,
everyone in the chat. Everyone in the chat, was it Poch?
Well, I think it was 15-16 season. I think it was Poch when Poch was there. Because you're right, Savva, because Ali wouldn't have played under Conte, would he?
When did Tottenham last win at Stamford Bridge? In the same season, on the 1st of April 2018, Tottenham won away to Chelsea with goals from Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen. So, I mean, I don't know when we're playing Chelsea, but we're 7 years down the line. It would be great to win at Stamford Bridge. We don't tend to do so well there, but hey, we just beat West Ham. We haven't won there for 6 years since Jose.
Well, maybe it's okay.
Yeah, Delhi. I've got a vision of the ball going over the top and Delhi bringing it down and rifling it in. I don't know. I might be wrong. But thank you very much, Rodney. Really appreciate the super chat, my man. Listen, love to win. Want to win every game, but be lovely to win at Anfield. We don't seem to get a lot of luck there. But hey, it is what it is. Big up to you guys. Guys and girls, the link for Charlie is in the chat. Somebody put it in there. Let me see if I can find it and bring it up. Please go over and subscribe. Chelsea fan, but really, really level-headed, not one of the silly ones. There you go. Is that the link? There's the link. There you go. So if you go over to Blue Brother CFC, please subscribe to Charlie. He's going to be with us every day just for an hour. Charlie, thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow, and there'll have been Champions League games and there's cup games tonight, right?
Oh, there's Carabao. Yeah, there's Carabao as well.
Yeah, there's we were just talking about them. Brentford versus Villa tonight in the League Cup, and then Crystal Palace versus Millwall. A nice
That's a spicy one, that, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't that a replay? Didn't they play each other in the cup earlier this year?
They did, and that's when the keeper almost took Mateta's head off. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So listen, we'll have lots to talk about tomorrow. Spurs are playing tonight. Guys and girls, I will be live from 6:30 for a watch along. Tottenham Hotspur at home to Villarreal in the Champions League. Lots of ex-Chelsea players, Spurs players, and Arsenal players all in the Villarreal squad. Join me at 6:30. I'm going to send you over right now. Let's see who's live, and then we'll end the show. I'm going to send you over to, let's see. 1 second. Bear with me, callers. Customization, redirect.
There's got to be a few people live. There must be someone.
Who have we got live? Who's that? What's that going on there? Is anyone live? It's not really anyone live. I'm going to send you over to Jack. No, I can't really see anyone live at all. Okay. I'll send you over to Nobbins is live. I'll send you over to Nobbins from Man City. So if you get over there,
3-0 in the chat, 2-0 in the chat.
Yeah, just put in their Spurs. So just put in Savva Spurs always win at City, something like that. Much love. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow, but I'll see you tonight at 6:30. And as always, I've got to think of something, Evan. I've got to think of something. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. I'll have a catchphrase. See ya.